Stream. I'm your host, Johnny Tarica, retired detective with the Rochester, New York Police Department. After serving 30 years, I work uniform patrol, undercover narcotic street investigations. As a hostage negotiator for over 20 years, closing out my career with the fine men and women of the ATF, that is alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Our main focus was violence and gun trafficking throughout these great United States of America. You know who's up next. My trusted co-host. He's a 22-plus year veteran, also a retired detective from the Rochester Police Department. He was infamous as a street cop in the legendary Genesee section. He was an undercover cop. He was a SWAT team member, homicide detective. D Simps 14 on the Twitter. David Simpson, welcome to the live show, brother.
What up, though?
Oh, David, we got a good one today. By the way, our super producer, Danny Agnew, has been working on some graphics, some audio. We got some new stuff that we're trying out today, folks.
Laser show.
He's got the laser show. He's got graphics. He's got sound effects. He's been texting me, calling me all day. I love every single minute. He's the hardest worker, not only in Rochester, but definitely on this podcast. Listen, folks, we want to give a shout out. It was Veterans Day yesterday. Got my camo hat on. I got my green shirt. Got my B-Bills on. Hopefully they won't lose this weekend against Tampa. Anyways, folks, we got a great show for you today. We got a suspect that shot at ICE agents. We got a cool tweet of the week, and she was an idiot. We got NYPD retirements, and we got some economic espionage going on with the FBI. And David, we probably have one of our favorite segments always thrown at the end of the show. We got a new thing called Narco Polo. It's going to be a little graphic. It's going to be some people getting shot out of the water. It's our favorite part of the show, David.
It's my favorite. It's my dream job.
Hey, Hector, get on the boat, man. Hector, get on the boat. I don't want to go on the boat. I don't want to get on the boat. Anyways.
I just want to fly the drone.
I know. Like we talk about, it's probably some 18-year-old kid with his Kool-Aid stained underwear in his mom's basement, just working that controller out of like Oklahoma.
I researched it. I know exactly how.
Yeah,
it's fascinating.
That's
awesome.
Awesome.
We'll get into it. Yeah,
folks. Just like we talk about every time, you can be part of the show. What we do is after we talk about a topic, as you type, our super producer Danny is hanging on to those messages. Then at the end of the segment, he starts firing them, so you can leave a comment. Folks, listen, this is our live stream every Wednesday night at 9:30. However, with daylight savings time, Danny and David came up with the idea. I think we're going to start doing our live shows. Not I think, we know. Next Wednesday, we're going to start at 8:30. With daylight savings time, upstate New York, you're cozy in your pajamas at 9:30, getting ready to go to bed. In the summertime and in early fall, it's a little bit easier to listen to us at 9:30, but not when it starts to get dark out. So we're going to move the show back to 8:30. Not back. We're moving it to 8:30, not like we were there before, but 8:30 will be the time. We'll be sending out social media posts and all that to remind you, but 8:30 starting next week is going to be our new time. We got the Rock City Mag. Yeah, baby. Vote for us. Rock City Mag 2025 Best of Rochester. Vote for us as the best podcast. Let's show this liberal media in Rochester who the real guys are, who the real supporters of the rock media. David's got his belt right there. He already has claimed victory, but we still need you to vote for us. So, Dave, you want to jump into it?
Yeah. What do you want me to jump into? Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'm too busy shining my belt.
I love it. Danny, pop it up there, baby. Here we go. First thing up on the box is going to be. Here we go. Hit the video, Danny.
Oh, God.
Send it to Christy.
Oh, Tommy Tough.
That Mustang is coming on you pretty fast. She just ran a red light.
Oh, yeah.
Look at her driving like an asshole.
Fast little car.
Yeah.
She's right behind you now.
Yeah.
All right, just slow down. Let me do this. Turn on the lights. Turn on the lights. Turn on the lights.
He must have been riding with a rookie. He's directing her to do him or her to do everything. It's just unbelievable. It's irritating.
Yeah, the lights, the switch. Hit the switch, honey.
Hit the toggle switch.
So I couldn't be an FTO. I'd have kicked her out of
Ma'am,
the car.
you're impeding with
Or
the federal
him.
investigation. We have you on camera. We actually have news reporters with us in the vehicle.
Oh, news report.
Your case will be referred over to Homeland Security investigations for prosecution. You will be arrested. This is your last and final warning. Hold on a second, guys.
Give me a warning. I have it.
Give me your license, please. I will once again.
By the way, this guy's great,
David.
David.
Danger. Hey, Claudia,
I don't have it. I'm just.
put your vehicle in park and shut
He's
it off.
got a couple
please.
minutes on the job.
I understand,
Yeah.
but you are impeding. Look what you're at. You are almost causing an accident. You are surrounded by.
He
federal
does a great
ladies.
job.
Okay, I am the deputy field officer director here, ma'am. Stand by. We're running the name. We're going to refer this case over for enforcement action.
Please don't. I'm just.
Oh,
I'm just a
please
mom,
don't.
please.
The libs. The please
Please,
don't.
I'm just a mom. Please.
I'm just a
I'm just
mom.
a mom.
They're always tough
Yes,
guys.
please. I'm just.
You
a
are
mom.
just. You turn around and get out of here.
I'm getting out of here. I'm getting
Here
out.
you go.
I'm getting out.
Slow down.
Yes, yes, yes.
Hey,
I'm getting out.
guys, I got it. I got it. Got it. Everybody break away. Break away.
It was a really good
Everybody break away.
idea to do this. It was
Kylie,
brilliant.
look at me. Look at me.
Really thinking of your kids when
Look
you
at
go
me.
out there and do this.
Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Okay? I need you right now. Take a deep breath.
Should
I
have
want
had
you to
her
pull over right
bounce
here
her head off the steering
and
wheel.
go
That
home,
gets some common
okay?
sense in her head.
Take a deep breath.
Can I just? I'm shaking.
You may leave.
she's shaking.
Please turn
She's
around.
shaking
I'm going
now.
to stop traffic
Just
for
throwing
you.
a finger a
Go.
little while ago. Now
Okay.
she's not a tough guy anymore. Interesting, huh?
She'll be back.
Is you okay, Kylie?
He was great. He had great
Everybody
de-escalation
break away.
skills. That guy was awesome.
Very patient. I don't know if I have that patience in me.
All right, Danny, we're good. So the funny thing about this video, Dave, the reason why I made this the tweet of the week is because here's the best part about this. This guy, Derek Evans, the best part is, please, 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 I'm just a mom. The quote is what caught me when I was on the twits. So apparently she's a spotter who alerts ICE of their operations. As you notice, she jumped out of her car like she was Tommy Toughnuts, like she was a tough guy, threw the camera the finger, acted all tough. They chased her down like a dead dog. And then all of a sudden she's like, oh shit, these are the real deal. They're behind me too. She thought she was just following what was in front of her. Obviously she has zero situational awareness. When she finds out what it is, I still don't know if I'm totally convinced that she was breathing heavy and nervous. I wasn't sure about that, but she definitely got humbled, David.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm hardened. I'm a skeptic.
I
think it was a big act to get out of
Yeah.
there. She'll be back.
Yeah, me too. You know what's so funny though? Whether it's a female or whether it's a male. By the way, some other person.
Damn, who's that?
So someone tweeted after this was down in the thread a little bit after I was reading it. If you're going to be stupid, you better be tough. Exactly. So what that tweet basically says is, if you're going to act like a tough guy, be a tough guy all the way through. Even if you get the shit kicked out of you, at least you stayed true to who you thought you were. Don't act like a tough guy like she was in the beginning. Then all of a sudden she rolls over like a dog, lays on her back like a fucking baby. And you know what I mean? Now all of a sudden she's not a tough guy anymore. But anyways,
I mean, look at the riots in Rochester. I mean,
yeah, I know, right?
They got a couple pepper balls shot at them, and the next thing you know, they're cowering. No one wanted to fight. No one wanted to do anything other.
And by the way, you're right. Speaking of the riots, I told this before on one of the other radio shows. All the assholes during the Rochester riots, and yeah, they were all assholes, okay? The assholes during the Rochester riots, the ones that tortured our mobile field force and our guys that were on the street holding the line, all our brave brothers and sisters, every single one of them that did felonious activity and got locked up and got interviewed by our homicide guys, because our homicide guys pretty much took control of all those major arrests that happened. Said it before, and I'll say it again. This is not propaganda on my part. If you know any homicide guy, you could ask them. They all cried like little bitches in the interview room. They all put their tail between the legs because they weren't out there with the mob mentality. They went in the interview room, they got interviewed, and they all cowered like the effing sissies that they are. Okay. When they got in the box is what we call the interview room. When they got in the box, David, they all cowered and cried.
True.
Yeah, true that.
True that.
Yeah. It's just, what's funny too, by the way, speaking of assholes like this lady, you know what's so funny? I forgot where it was. There was something going on, a protest somewhere. I don't know where it was. You might have saw it. You're the social media guy. But Antifa was literally beating the shit out of some dude. Jake Shields, who used to be in the UFC, was a fighter in the UFC, tough kid. He's got his own podcast now. He jumped outside alone, solo dolo. Next thing you know, nobody wanted to fight anymore. And
No
he
one
even
wanted
said
it.
it.
No
He
one
even
wanted
said
it.
it.
No one wanted that smoke.
Yeah, no one wanted to smoke. He was by himself, he saw the guy getting assaulted, didn't even know the guy. He ran outside, saw Antifa act like Tommy Tough Nuts again. They go outside. Jake goes outside to confront all of them, like, hey, grabs the guy, brings him to safety. After he does it, he goes back outside, stands out there with the Antifa people, and nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted a piece of Jake. Because you know what, David? We know this, right? One guy's got to step up.
Mhm.
One dude has to step up, but that guy knows that a fighter like Jake more than likely is going to drop him with a punch, knockout punch, and probably break his jaw.
Listen, the nerds don't want to fight.
They don't want to fight.
Trust me. The nerds don't want to fight. I haven't seen one Antifa guy that
Yeah.
I mean, that's a joke.
Well, you
I
know
mean,
what's so funny, David, is we saw this when we were on the street, right? We worked the streets, we worked the ghetto, we worked the hood, we worked the depressed areas. We didn't work those Park Avenue areas. We didn't work up in the borderlines of the suburbs where they're at. We were always in the shit area of the city. You know what I mean? And when we worked those areas, there is a higher probability, to say it politely, of getting into fights because you're getting into the mix, you're taking calls, you're dealing with dope dealers and gun runners. And when you're young and doing the job the way you should be doing it, yeah, no matter how much you and I could talk, a lot of times there was no talking, there was a lot of fighting. You know what I mean? And
I know exactly what you mean.
listen, man, I'm old now. I don't fight anymore, but there's a lot of shit going on. What's interesting is those Antifa D-bags, especially up in Portland, now that Trump gave them all the green light saying, hey, ICE guys, you could defend yourself, by the way. If someone breaks the line and they act like, that's why you see the protests, but when you see the confrontations and they see social media, them people getting thrown, even politicians, they act like assholes, they're getting thrown to the ground.
Or literally a whole can of spray in their face, and they're screaming and crying and belly.
It's like the big hairspray bottle that your mom used to have in the 70s, Adorn hairspray, when she used to cover her eyes and spray her whole head with it.
I've said it from the beginning. It's Revenge of the Nerds, Johnny. I mean, every one of these guys.
I know.
And girls,
theater kids, right?
Right. It's theater kids gone wild. It's theater kids on coke.
Yeah.
Rich theater kids that blew an 8-ball in an afternoon, threw on a hoodie, and went out there and started screaming and ranting and raving.
They thought they were going to grow a set of balls, David.
Yeah.
Until
they get an elbow in the bridge of their nose and it shatters.
You know, I had an opportunity to hang out with a bunch of guys, and we all
out with guys again, Johnny.
Just the boys I ran the streets with back in the day. We call them Clinton boys. All the Clinton boys. Saw some Clinton boys and the guys I used to run the street with, and we were talking about it. And let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. For 4 of us out of 8 are retired, and a couple of them are still on the job, but they're high. You know, they got high years on. You know, they're well into their 20s ish. You know, 25 plus, and
they're old.
Yeah, they're old guys, right? I mean, they were younger when we were on the job, but at the end of the day, we all talked about it over the weekend. It's like, look at we don't know. We're wondering if we would have been able to survive in this generation with our mentality that we used to have. I don't know.
Oh, the answer would be no.
Yeah, I don't.
A hard no. I would have been fired very fast.
Yeah, I mean, it was a different time. It was a different generation. And, you know, the thing is, what people don't understand, when we policed in the early 90s and the mid 90s, we talked a lot. So I don't want to give the audience the impression that everything was what we call thump and dump. We didn't do that. We talked and we tried to get people to comply. However, the difference is when they didn't comply and it was go time, it was unfortunate for them in most instances, you know. So what are you going to do? Ooh, all right. What's that?
Retire.
I know. That's what we did. We retired, David. All right. What do we got? County 61s. I didn't think he was going to make it today. He said he had another commitment. What we got? He's
cheating on us again.
He's cheating on us. He was listening to another podcast is what he was doing. Rochester Rants had to go. When Rochester Rant says, I'm just a mom. Yeah, it's crazy work. I love it, Rants. Yeah, so So that was pretty much it. Danny, we got any more comments on that one? All right, cool. So let's move on to our next topic. What do we got, Danny? Surprises. Illegal alien with past felony firearm violation in custody after the weekend. Border Patrol. He attacked Border Patrol. This guy. I don't know if the audience is familiar with this, which I'm sure they are.
Well, it got buried. I mean,
It did get buried. It did get buried. The incident occurred on Saturday in a little village in area, Chicago. Agents were basically doing immigration enforcement, and according to DHS, an unknown male driver driving a black Jeep fired shots. They got the asshole in custody now, but agents said that the guy fled the scene. They ended up scooping him. It's my understanding. They ended up scooping him and arrested him. But this is the mentality, David. This is what it's coming down to.
So he wanted to shoot at cops, but when they stopped him, he didn't want to shoot then when the cops had guns and we're going to shoot back.
Right. He put his finger to his nose, David, and yelled, "Not it." He was like I said, he was a tough guy.
Okay, I'm done. Okay, I was going to shoot you in the back, but now I'm done.
Yeah, just kidding. Yeah, so this guy shot at the cops when they had their back to him. Then they chased him down, ended up finding out who he was, and they locked him up, and he didn't want to smoke, like we said. But at the end of the day, what it comes down to, these incidents obviously are going to be more frequent. The Latin Kings, we already know that there's a bounty on the director of ICE's head. And he's
good luck.
He's been threatened. You know, there's been a lot of threats going on. And you know what? The thing is this, you know, do we want these threats to happen? No. Do we want shootings at our federal agents or any cops for that matter in law enforcement? No, we don't. But I will tell you this, you better aim good, because you throw one bullet down range, we throw 10. You throw 10 bullets down range, we're throwing 100. So we may shoot to lockback, because that's how it is, folks. Survival. When I taught my daughter how to shoot, okay, and I said to her when she got a gun, and I talked about this all the time. I'm actually going to be on a podcast next month about weapons and stuff like that. We'll get into that later. However, I told the co-host, we were talking today, I go, look, I don't know if your people listening to your show will want to hear what I have to say, because there's two things. If you have a gun, guns don't keep you safe. Okay. Don't get that false perception. Guns do not keep you safe, folks. Okay. Because when you have a gun, you got to have the balls or the chutzpah to pull that gun out, aim it. And I'll use polite language and say eliminate the threat, but that means kill somebody. If you don't have the balls to point that gun and drop them like a dog, you should not have a gun. Having a gun, if you don't have the guts to pull the trigger and kill somebody, you should not have a gun, period. That is the sole purpose of having a weapon, is to defend yourself. You do not shoot to maim. You don't shoot in a leg. You don't shoot to disable somebody. You shoot to kill. That is the only mission there is. Now, if you want to have a gun to go target shooting and lock it in a safe, different story. But if you tell me that you want a gun because you think you're going to keep you and your family safe, if you don't have the balls to pull that thing out and shoot somebody with it and be okay with after you shoot them and kill them, mentally, if you're okay with that, then I say have a gun, David. Have all at it, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to carry and you're going to pull it, you better be able to let it fly.
And live with the consequences.
You go to lunch after.
That's right. Right. Where are we eating? Bill Gray's, or are we going to
Rockies?
Exactly. And then we're going to grab a beer afterwards. Uh-oh, folks. That's live streaming right there. My knee just hit the table.
You got a twitchy knee. What do you bounce? You dance over there when you're on the live.
You know what happened? I know. By the way, Danny's going to go nuts.
Danny's going to be like,
I'm going to, after this thing's
you're going to be in remedial training. 100%.
Danny's going to make me go to the buddy bench on the, remember the bully bench? He's going to be yelling at me after this podcast.
That's why I fold my arms, because I
usually sit here and I put my hands here, but as soon as I hit my desk, sometimes shit goes south. Anyways, Danny, sorry about that. I love your face. What do we got next, Danny?
Danny's giving us a silent treatment.
Oh, yeah, he's the silent treatment. He's not even in our headphones. Listen, folks, this is another one, David. This is another one that the Rochester shitty media, the shitty media in Rochester, New York, folks, let me tell you something.
Well, they can't compliment law enforcement. Let's be honest.
Right. Or actually talk about things that affect our safety, our national safety. Folks, let me tell you something. And This is what we call the non-sexy part of law enforcement. But in my old age, I love this stuff. The FBI and
Johnny
federal
finds
agents.
things sexier in a much different way now
Yeah.
that he's
So,
gotten old.
yeah. So when I was younger, all I did was drugs, guns, gangs members, shooting, stabbings, murder, you name it. That's what I did. That's what David did. But as I get older, this is stuff. When you talk about national safety, folks, this is your shitty Rochester media. They never reported on this guy. And our federal agents in Rochester and our U.S. Attorney's Office did a great job with this case. This D-bag, and I'm going to give you a quick synopsis, and I got notes here, so bear with me. A grand jury last week convicted this guy, G. Wang. He was 63 years old, out of Painted Post, New York. Painted Post, when you go east on the, what is it, David? East on the expressway there? I don't know where the hell Painted Post. South?
buddy.
East and south.
390 south, and just keep driving.
There you go. Painted Post. I'm not a geographer.
Down by Elmira.
So, anyways, he got convicted of 2 counts of economic espionage, 1 count of theft of trade secrets, 1 count of attempted economic espionage, 1 count of attempted theft of trade secrets. Folks, this affects our national security. I'm not going to dive into all of it, but he was born in China, immigrated to the United States. We were kind enough to yeah, right. He immigrated to the United States in 1998 to work for Corning, and then he got on this federally funded project. Basically, it was high-powered lasers that had military and commercial applications, right? So in sum and substance, this guy basically stole trade secrets
for 5 years, for at least 5 years.
Right. Wanted to go back to China because China then said, "Oh, hey, you're so smart." They knew what he was doing. This guy was definitely an agent of China, and he ended up going back to China, securing all kinds of money, all kinds of funding for tens of millions of dollars, basically stealing our trade secrets, basically stealing our patents and all that good stuff. China plays by their own rules. They don't really give a shit. But this guy's looking at, David, on the federal side, about 15 years. Espionage carries 15 years, and theft of trade secrets has a max of 10. But it's going to be interesting, though, at sentencing, because I want to see this douchebag go away for a long time.
I don't see judges in the Western District of New York giving him anything close to that.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, kudos to the prosecutors on the case of the U.S. District Attorney, our good friend Megan McGuire. I had cases with Megan. She's a sharp cookie over there in the Western District. And also, she had attorneys Nicholas Hunter and Brendan Geary of the Counterintelligence and Export Control Section, the National Security Division, tagging up with her and getting this guy convicted. This case, folks, it may not sound sexy to you, but this is a national security case. And I'll tell you what, this is why I say the Rochester media is horrible. You Google it, Channel 13 had like maybe 2 paragraphs on it buried on their website. It never hit national attention. I mean, it never hit media attention where when you're sitting there with your TV dinner in front of your screen, they never had it on the TV. They never had it during a live broadcast. Channel 8, same thing. None of the other media outlets had it. No radio, no Democrat. None of the people had it. But this was a great case. So shout out to the feds. Shout out to the U.S. Attorney's Office. They did a great job with this case. That's a banger, David. That's a big banger.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've been seeing it so much lately. You got Hochul's aide there, who is basically an agent of China. She got scooped up with her husband. Now you got a report today that the Chinese, through shell companies, were buying bought a trailer park in Missouri that backed up to a military base that basically housed planes that carried nuclear warheads.
Yeah.
So obviously they were spying on the nuclear base,
right?
And they hit it through shell companies. It's just they bought up all the farmland in the Midwest, not all, but
a lot.
They shouldn't be able to operate like that. We should have much stringent, more vetting, stricter vetting when it comes to China. But yet again, I mean, let's be honest. I don't think it would be wrong at this point with the infiltration that it's been lately, that if you have an aide to a congressman or a mayor of a major city or something like that, or an engineer at a nuclear facility, and they're Chinese and they immigrated from China, a little light bulb should be going off, because the communist country there has a lot of power over these people, because it is a communist country and their families are still there, and they turn these people, and to allow them into these positions is a dangerous game of Russian roulette.
Yeah. Well, too, don't forget about Fang Fang with douchebag Swalwell. You know, Swalwell. You know, Swalwell was banging that Chinese girl, and she was a spy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
100%.
and you talk about this too, David, with Sarah Adams, all the research you've done on that. There's a lot of bad things coming to America. I mean, I kind of feel like, you know, it's almost like David and Goliath. I kind of feel like there's so many holes in the dam, just deciding which one to cover up first. You know what I mean? Just crazy right now.
When you have an open door to your house, you never know what's going to come in.
It's coming from China. China doesn't even care if they make money on it, because their ultimate goal is to put their technology in our cell towers to steal information, put cameras up, and grab all kinds of information. I'm going deep in the weeds, too much to explain, but look into it, folks. Those cell towers in the Midwest that butt up to our military bases, the information that they're stealing is unbelievable. Kim DeRosa, our girl. What's up, Kim? Governor Hochul had a communist Chinese spy working for her too. Yep, 100%. Horse Teeth Hochul definitely had somebody. David just mentioned that. Don't forget. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he let the balloon fly over, Fire Guy, 900% of America, and then they decided to shoot it down over South Carolina. Well done, Joe Biden. What a scumbag. What else we got, Danny? What's up on the agenda? Oh God, here we go. Folks, let me tell you what. This is the new normal in America. David and I talk about recruitment all the time. David and I talk about recruitment and retention. The difference between both: recruitment for cops all over the country, just not in Rochester. The recruitment of cops is so low. It's like swimming upstream, okay? You are not going to be able to hire the amount of cops and replace them with the amount of guys that are retiring. That's a problem. The retention end of it that David always talks about is being able to hold the guys in and hopefully not have them retire, so you keep that experience that David talks about all the time. But those guys are going out the door. Guys like me and David, we had our time. We're leaving. We're out. But recruitment and retention, David, is horrible. This story in NYPD is devastating. If it becomes true, they're talking about the NYPD losing up to 5,000 guys as of January 2026 when Zoran the moron gets elected. And they're saying that there's going to be a mass exodus from the NYPD. David, you got boys, you got friends in the NYPD. We know that their staffing from the 90s to the early 2000s hovered right around 40K. Right now, it's hovering around 30K. They're already short almost 10,000 people. If this 5,000 person exodus from the NYPD happens, it'll cripple the department.
Well, they're talking about that as being...
So we just lost David for a second, but oh, there he is. David, you got me, babe?
Yeah.
It'll cripple the department.
Yeah, they're talking about that as being mostly retirements. They haven't even included the amount of people that are going to leave to transfer to other departments. That's
Right.
gonna make that number skyrocket. You know, and we talked about that today, but they're gonna have to do retention bonuses or something to keep people, because that 5,000 could easily be up to 7,000-10,000.
And we talked about too, right? We were on the phone today talking. So we got Florida, DeSantis, the state of Florida, who, by the way, capitalizes on every loss that New York State has.
Genius.
He did it during COVID. He is a genius. He literally turns lemons into lemonade. DeSantis was all over the media today, and he's been this week saying, oh, no problem. NYPD, any other New York cop that doesn't want to work for shitbag Hochul, guess what we're going to do? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to hire you, and we're going to give you a signing bonus to come to the beautiful sunshine state of Florida. So I'll tell you right now, those guys in NYPD, and they're caught. And David, you know, because you got buds that are still that worked on the job down in NYPD. So you know, you did a bunch of cases down in NYPD. The cost of living down there is crazy compared to what they make.
Yeah, I mean, you have to literally make $250,000 to $300,000 to live in New York and have a family.
Right.
I mean, and that's just not, they just don't pay that. Now, and like Long Island, they do pay that.
Right.
So that's where a lot of NYPD cops end up in Long Island, because you almost double your pay.
Right.
But now you're starting to see the people that were going to Florida, they're going to Georgia, they're going to Arizona, they're going to North Carolina. They get the climate, they get less state income tax, and the pay is not as high, but the cost of living is so much cheaper, and they don't have to deal with a communist mayor coming in either.
Yeah, we talked about too, Gwinnett County in Georgia was like the first one to throw up advertisement. And if you don't remember it, it was in the 90s. I remember driving my patrol car up and down 490, going, holy cow, these people got a brass set of balls on them. They're recruiting in our town, trying to take our cops. But that's when RPD had a line out the door. I mean, we had 10,000 people trying to take the test, take the exam to be cops. We had also 200 guys on a waiting list that wanted to transfer in from other departments around the state. I mean, they had literally the top picks, the RPD back in the day. They don't have that anymore. They barely have, and don't let anyone lie to you folks, they barely have 400 people that sign up for the test in RPD.
Just take RPD. RPD could go down to New York and recruit as many people as they possibly want and take them, and they're trained in New York, and bring them up here. They'll have better cost of living. They'll make probably about the same as they do in the city, but the cost of living is cheaper. And the retirement, they can still, I believe it's retirement still, you can go from NYPD to
Yes.
our retirement,
Yeah.
and you don't lose time.
Right.
So, I mean, why would you stay in New York? It doesn't make any sense to stay with NYPD.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't. I mean, I know they got people talk about it. And I know you had cases down there. I had cases down there. The cops like, hey, man, this is where I grew up. This is where all my family is. We have no other choice. But I don't disagree. I would have to bite the bullet and be like, I'm getting the F out of this place. You know what I mean? But we'll see.
5-hour car ride to get home.
Exactly.
Not a big deal. Not a big deal.
I don't disagree, David. What do we got there, Rants? As a domestic violence survivor, I fear Mamdani's policing policies. I would be dead without police. Yeah, you're right, Rants. What people don't understand about domestic violence and domestic abuse is when you have less cops, you have a higher response time. When there's less cops on the street and less cops employed, you have you have a higher probability of getting beat up by your significant other or husband or whatever it is.
Nobody's coming.
No one's coming because there's not enough guys. They're spread too thin. The pizza's only so big, geographically. You want me to cut it in 4 pieces or 16 pieces? The pie is still this big. And at the end of the day, there's not enough cops.
It's a long ride from Irondequoit or Greece to Jefferson Avenue.
Yeah, no shit. I mean,
because when they got to send get a Irondequoit car or a Greece car to come in and help out because we don't have anybody, that's a long ride. Even lights and sirens. So
yeah, and what Rance is talking about, she's saying the cops, they saved her life, and that's 100%. And at the end of the day, what it comes down to is when you don't have enough police, all you're doing is treading water just to survive to get to the next shift, David, right? You're just trying to get to the next shift to survive. You're throwing Band-Aids on shit. You're not able to show anything attention. There's no community policing. There's no community interaction.
No proactiveness.
No proactiveness. There's no floater cars, which are the extra cars on the shift where you have the younger guys or younger officers taking the calls while the more experienced officers are out there looking for guns and drugs and being proactive and backing up on the busy nights. And you don't have that in Rochester anymore because you don't have enough cops. There's not enough people out there anymore, David.
No, there's not. But that's never going to change. You're not going to get caught up in the next 20 years. It's just, there's not enough bodies.
Yeah, by the way, Fire Guy is 100% right. Good point, Fire Guy. Why would an officer want to come to Rochester with his BLM city council? Of course not. That's all they are. There's no publicly driven anti-cop agenda than the members of city council. And I don't give a shit if they're listening. They're horrible people.
They're not.
They don't have, trust me. You know what? I got inside trader. You know what's so funny, David? I got inside trader that they do every now and then pass along clips of shit that we say. Good. By the way, clip this. They're all horrible people. They don't support the RPD, period. They're the big mouse on city council. There may be 1 or 2 that keep their mouths shut and they don't say nothing, but they don't have the balls to stand up to the D-bags like the Stanley Martins and the Mary Lupians, okay? The big else, and they're the anti-cop BLM people right here. Which I got for you. Terrible people. By the way, what do we say, David? What do we say? People that don't support the cops better be making friends with the criminals.
Yeah.
That's what we say.
A lot of truth.
Oh man, I'm kind of jacked up today. I feel like I'm a little jacked today. I'm a little jacked up, I think.
I know. When I'm calm and the voice of reason, I know we're
in trouble.
We're in trouble. Yeah,
we're in deep shit right now.
We're in waters that are not healthy.
Yeah, Arlene, it's funny. I said the same thing. So she says, New Yorkers who voted for no law and order, let them live with it. I hope so. You're right. I don't disagree with that. So my one of my best buds I grew up with, Timmy DiMperio, retired legend from the RFD, he's a firefighter. Timmy's a great guy. Shout out to him. When that shit first came down, Arlene, with all this going on where Mamdani had a shot of getting hired or getting elected as the mayor, I said the same thing. And Timmy was like, yeah, but hang on a minute. The guys that didn't vote for him, our brothers and sisters in NYPD, FDNY, they're the ones that are going to get the brunt of it because this guy's so anti anything when it comes to first responders. So, yeah, I don't disagree there, Arlene, but I really pray for our FDNY and our NYPD guys out there, so. Woohoo. Anyways, Danny, what do we got next? Are we going to our favorite segment? David, are you ready? You got
Go. Yeah, I'm ready.
You ready to play a little Narco Polo?
Oh.
Porno graphics, but I love every second. Here we go, David. David, you got it?
Oh, I got it. Oh, yes. I love it. That's so good. I want to be a drone operator and blow narco boats up, please.
Here it is, David. Get it.
Can just put it in the X? This is so fun.
Control Alt Delete, Shift F7.
Oh, no, it's the X button.
It's the X button to shoot. I always forget what it is. Look at that. That's a sight for sore eyes.
It's drones. It's the drones, and they're coming out of they have a base in Puerto Rico that they just send them up, and
boom.
The Hellfire missiles just beautiful
there
thing.
It is.
Yeah. So I wanted to touch on this.
Yeah, man.
Getting a lot of this is how it works. I'm gonna give you a quick 30-second breakdown of the narco trafficking.
Preach.
General terms.
General.
Right? I know there's exceptions to rule, but this is the general how it works. Colombia source makes cocaine. Okay, coca to cocaine. Now we have to get it to the United States. How do we get it to the United States? Number of different ways, but it doesn't stay in Colombia. Obviously, it gets muled over to Venezuela. Okay, and it gets taken to the Caribbean, into Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic, etc. Those are transit points. Okay, so coke on the boats and goes to those places, and it gets stays there. It gets distributed from there to Mexico. Does not go to the United States from there. It goes to Mexico. Okay, it leaves Colombia. Submarines, boats. 80% of the submarines come directly from Colombia. Okay, and where do they go? Not to the United States. They go to Mexico. Mexico is your truck drivers. Mexico is your distribution. Okay. The deal with the Colombian cartels from the Mexican cartels is we take your cocaine and we get it to the United States. So all Colombia has to do is produce it and get it to Mexico. Okay. That's how this works. And once in Mexico, the government of Mexico is the cartel. They are complicit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they are allowed within Mexico to move the cocaine in tractor trailers, on airplanes, right to the U.S. border. And that's how it gets into the United States. And once in the United States, it goes to different cities. It goes to Houston, over the border. It goes to Houston. It either goes to the West Coast. Sometimes it comes in through Tijuana to the West Coast, but a lot of times it comes in right in Nuevo Laredo and those Texas places. Then it goes to, on the East Coast, it goes to Atlanta. Or it goes to Chicago, which hits all the Midwest. And then from Atlanta, it goes to New York. That's the distribution hubs once in the United States. But it does not come from Venezuela or Colombia to the United States. Extremely rare if that happens. So I just wanted to let that marinate, because a lot of people are asking me, oh, how do they get it from Venezuela to the United States? And do the boats come right to Miami? No. It doesn't work like that.
Doesn't work.
They take the long route. Okay, it's not a short route going from Venezuela to the DR, from the DR to Mexico. All right, that's the long way. It'd be much quicker to go to Miami, but that's how you get caught. They're smart. They go through Mexico because the government of Mexico is complicit. That's how it gets in the United States.
So, David, this week, who, by the way, Hexstaff pulls out on his tweet, Department of War, right on his Twitter. He explains, he said he has a little blurb in there at the bottom. It says the same thing every week when they blow up a boat. I think they're up to like 19 boats and 75 guys now. He comes out and basically says, yep, we struck another boat, another protecting Americans. More narco terrorists are dead, and we're going to continue to protect you.
And that's also why they like blowing the boats up in the Pacific versus the Caribbean, because in the Pacific, coming from Colombia, it's a much easier sell when they're en route to Mexico that it's a narco boat. When it's coming out of Venezuela and heading towards the DR, there's some gray area there.
Yeah,
so it's harder to justify. That's why the numbers of boats blown up are higher in the Pacific than in the Caribbean.
Right. And the intel that they're getting, folks, it's dead nuts on. Don't let anyone give you talking points. They're all Democratic, left-wing, tree-hugging talking points. They have intel up to yin yang. They know exactly who it is. We've said it on the podcast before. We said it on a live stream before. These are the drugs that kill our sons, our daughters, our aunts, our uncles, whoever it is that you love, that that drugs have touched. And at the end of the day, if they haven't touched you, let me tell you, drugs up close, it ain't pretty. David and I were out there on the streets, on the front lines, dealing with heroin addicts, crack addicts. It is a sad sight to see somebody that is addicted to drugs. And by the way, these people getting dead and becoming fish food, I can give two shits about it, David. I can give two shits.
Right. And just so folks know, cocaine does not get produced with fentanyl in it.
Right.
Okay. That's an additive. It's an
Right.
additive for a reason. And it's not to make the drugs better, to make the drugs stronger. It's made with fentanyl because people are dying, and that's a direct cause. That's an effect that they want.
Correct.
Okay. Cocaine does not, you do not, in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, fentanyl was not in cocaine.
Right.
All of a sudden now it's in cocaine.
Right. And the best way to describe fentanyl versus heroin, because fentanyl is a synthetic opioid, synthetic meaning it's created in a chemistry lab. Opioid comes from the poppy plant, which is natural. It grows. It comes from a plant. It's organic. The difference between the two, and I heard a medical professional saying this, when you take heroin knocks on your door of your dopamine receptors in your brain. It knocks lightly on those doors. Eventually those doors open, you get the high, and then that's it in most instances. Okay. Fentanyl, when it goes into your system, it goes right up to those doors or those dopamine receptors in your brain and kicks them wide open. Does not lightly tap. That's the difference between a synthetic opioid that gets created in a lab as opposed to the poppy plant that's organic and natural. Folks, we could talk about, go ahead, Dave, I'm sorry.
One last thing. Why else would you want an opiate in cocaine?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's two different.
Yeah.
All right. That's, you don't want an opioid in with your cocaine. You want the purest cocaine would be the ideal thing for someone that was using cocaine.
Right.
They want the highest purity level they can get.
Right.
It's put in there for a reason.
Right.
And that's to disrupt things in the United States and cause mayhem.
Marco Rubio, because now the UK, who gives a shit, the UK, and a couple other countries are like, hey, yeah, by the way, we're not going to give the U.S. information anymore because they're like trying to take credit for our intel coming in. Rubio stood in front of the camera. I don't know if you saw it. He goes, oh, okay, cool. Because guess what? This is a United States thing. We don't need your intel, and we certainly don't need your help.
Isn't the UK the size of Maryland? I mean, come on. And it's basically a Muslim country now. I mean,
it's just unbelievable.
Winston Churchill's rolling over in his grave is all I know.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, he's like, I'm okay. We're going to use your intel. By the way, we've got the best intelligence in the world when it's used correctly. But at the end of the day, Rubio's like, oh, okay, that's what they're saying. Good. We don't need them anyways. No offense, but we're going to still do this, and we don't need your help. There's a big difference, David, between this administration and past administrations. And I mean all of them, even the ones that we thought were great, like George Bush Jr., like Reagan. These guys that are in here working for Trump, guys like Rubio, Hegstead, Vance, these guys are all operating at a high level, and they're operating at the FU level. I need politics to stay out of our politics. I need political correctness to stay out of my politics. I need guys to come out there and go, America first. So if you're a drowning person and we're both drowning, I got to save myself before I can save you. So we're going to save Americans first. Then we're going to start worrying about the rest of the world. Here, David, man. This is why am I so jacked up today?
I don't know. You're making me exhausted.
I know. It's like getting crazy. Yeah, I know, man. Well, I'll tell you what, Danny. Danny says, best of Rochester. We demonstrated it today, hopefully, folks. Best of Rochester podcast 2025. Go to rockcitymag.com, rockcitymag.com. Vote for us there. Go to the best of Rochester. For those that already voted, just to explain, David did a great job explaining it. The first time was when you voted for us, it was just the nomination portion. So what you have to do, that got us to the top four. The top four vote getters got to go on to the final round. We're in the final round right now with 3 other podcasts. So what we need to do is tell your friends, tell your family, you log on, you get on there, you vote for us. Please vote for us, and we'll see where this goes. And voting, by the way, the deadline is November 28th. Yeah, November 28th, David. You ready to rock and roll? What's that, 14 days from now? 16 days? What is that? How many days is that? Danny, do the math for me.
I'm bad at math. That's why
8 plus 8 is 16.
That's why I have a bank.
I'm bad at math. I went to public school, kicked out of private. Everyone knows what's going on. So that's it, folks. Danny, we all set? Cool, baby. Folks, listen, we hope you liked the live stream today. It was the Crime Dawg live stream. Don't forget to listen to us every Saturday on iHeartRadio. We got our new time, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. iHeart moved us. We obliged. We were happy to move to that time slot. We follow Mr. Jim Salmon. He's got a hell of a following there before our show. So we're new. Last probably about 3-4 weeks, we've been doing 10 a.m. to 11. Check us out there. Check our live stream out every Wednesday night. Go to our YouTube channel, subscribe. That's at Crime Dawg Podcast. And by the way, tell your friends and family. We're trying to get up over 2,000 subscribers. So tell your friends, tell your family, tell them all to hit that like and subscribe button on all of our stuff. Get us over the line, because Danny Nagnew, the super producer, he's been cracking the whip on us, Danny or David.
Yes, he has. He made these nice lasers, though. They're kind of mesmerizing.
It's like Buffalo Bills colors. Yes, Fire Guy, we're changing our Wednesday time to 8:30 p.m. starting next week. We figured it out. Daylight savings time. David and Danny said, hey,
it's dark earlier. People are going to bed. It's cold outside. They're hunkering down.
down.
When it's light out at 8 o'clock, it's easy to stay up to 8, to 9:30. But when it's dark out at 3,
yeah,
it's kind of hard.
Well, folks, we hope you liked the show, because most of our stories that we talked about were not talked about. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Williams. Is it Michael? Yeah, Michael Williams. Oh, thank you for liking our show. We appreciate you listening. So we're changing our show times to oblige for our daylight savings. We got a lot of stuff going on. I lost my train of thought, but that's okay. That's it, David, right? Get your belt ready. Oh, this is what I was saying. By the way, most of the stuff we talked about tonight was because of the bullshit Rochester media not covering it. So we'll see. We got some more stuff coming up for you next week. We're breaking some new news this coming week.
We're working on some stories.
We're working on some stories, and we're working on some great guests that will remain nameless. Folks, listen,
we're grinding on that.
Grinding. By the way, David is working his tail off behind the scenes. So listen, folks, you listen to the Crime Dawg live stream. We hope you stick with us for future episodes. But like my brother-in-law, Frankie Grassi, says, if you can't make it next time, who cares?
Hoorah.